Hello YouTube, RJ. Today we're going to answer a question that was in my comments. A very good question. I think it's something that confuses a lot of people, and I'm hoping it won't take me very long to explain. So user OneSmith1 watched the How I Shrunk My Antenna Tuner to Fit the Lynx EZ Receiver, and his question was, how will the tuner get SWR or other metrics, seeing how it's a receiver, not a transmitter? Okay, and I think I understand his question clearly. And this is the answer to it. This is the basic, and then we're going to jump over. I've got a little simulation up on LT Spice that we're going to show how all this works. And the thought is this, okay, here we have an antenna. Draw it upside down right off the bat. How's that? Here's an antenna. And it comes into your receiver or your transceiver, your ham radio. Okay, here's your mic. And you transmit. And at the frequency you're transmitting at, your transceiver is 50 ohms. Okay, it's not designed to be 50 ohm impedance output. Okay, and your antenna is 50 ohms at some frequency. There are some resonant sets of frequencies that it will be 50 ohm, hopefully, but other frequencies it's not going to be that. It's going to wander around. It might be 50, it might be 100, it might be 200. We don't know. Okay. And so the question is, he understands that when you use a transceiver and send to the antenna, you might end up with some SWR. Let's say we end up with SWR of 3:1. Well, that means that our impedance of our transceiver output is 50 ohms and our antenna is at 150 ohms. Or it could be 1/3 of 50. It could be either direction, and that would give you a 3:1. This makes total sense. So we know that what do? We go in here and we throw an antenna tuner, and we adjust the antenna tuner to have our radio see 50 ohms, and it actually modifies the impedance appearance of the circuit to be 50 ohms. So we end up with 50 ohms and apparent 50 ohms on our antenna. And this gets our SWR down to 1:1, we hope. And why do we do that? There's a lot of people that think they do it because it'll burn up the radio if the SWR is high. There's scenarios that can happen, and I don't want to go down that rabbit trail today. This is a very short video to answer his question. But the truth is that in any network, we're talking electronic network, any kind of circuit, antenna and radio, anything, to effectively move power from one stage to a second stage requires that the output impedance and the input impedance of the two stages match. If they're out of match, SWR is created and loss of power happens. You can't move power effectively from a source to a load unless the impedances are matched. We spend a lot of time in designing radios to matching impedance to make sure that we don't lose power. And his question is, this makes sense to him. What doesn't make sense to him is he sees an antenna coming in to a Lynx EZ receiver, and he says, why are we putting an antenna tuner? Now it's built in, but just picture the same antenna tuner. Why are we putting an antenna tuner? Where's the SWR going to come from? We're not putting power out. Well, that's not totally true. We aren't putting power out, but power is coming in. You have to think of it as a bidirectional network. Our signal is power. Energy is coming in that antenna. Some amount of signal, some microwatt, milliwatt, something is coming in this antenna, moving through this, we'll say coax, feed line, to the receiver. Now, if we don't have the antenna tuner, if your antenna is, let's say, 50 ohms, let's say that you're right on a resonant frequency, 50 ohms, resonance for 450 ohms. The Lynx EZ receiver, the front end of the Lynx EZ receiver without the antenna tuner is an 8831 chip. And the 8831 chip varies depending on the frequency, anywhere from about 1200 ohms down to about a little under 900 ohms. We'll call it 900 ohms. It varies depending across the 100 kilohertz to 40 megahertz that the receiver is designed for. This is the kind of frequency or impedance, input impedance variations we see at that chip. Now, in most receivers, you've got a bandpass filter in the front end of the receiver that does a number of things. And since it limits you down to a set amount of frequencies, then you can match impedance to get to 50 ohms. The other end of it is they often just crank the impedance really high on the receiver to the point that it's so high that the antenna has very little effect. If you get high enough on a receiver, you're not putting any load on your source, and you can get away with quite a bit of variation then, but it's got to be very, very high. So what we run into with the Lynx is, what's the front end of it? I don't want bandpass filters because I wanted to build a general coverage receiver. It would require a whole lot of different bandpass filters to make that work. So what happens on the Lynx EZ is, to match your antenna to this, wherever we're at on the frequency range, you do it with the antenna tuner. And so that makes an effective transfer of the energy coming on your antenna into the Lynx EZ to get the most power in the Lynx EZ. That's why when you see me turning the antenna tuner, the stations get stronger and they almost go away, is because I'm matching the impedance and effectively transferring the energy coming in my antenna into that receiver front end. We don't know what antenna you're going to hook up on your receiver. You build a Lynx EZ, who knows what antenna and what the impedance is going to be. It could be a random wire, it could be any impedance. So this antenna tuner lets you match your antenna at the frequency you're on to what the input of the receiver wants to peak those signals and pull them in. I've explained what it's about, but I want to make one point before I go over onto LT Spice and show you it actually happening, how this works. I want you to think about this as the answer to where's the SWR going to come from. It's going to come from, I have a transmitter over here called an antenna. It's receiving signals and sending them through my coax. Just as I had signals going out of my transceiver this way, I've got signals coming this way. And you know what happens if these signals hit an impedance of 1200 ohms when it's a 50 ohm antenna? Much of that signal, even though it's very small, bounces back as SWR. Anytime you have a mismatch of impedances and you have a signal flowing either direction, you're going to have SWR. You're going to have reflected signals coming back. So yes, where is it going to come from? It's going to come from your antenna going into my receiver. And it's going to come from the impedance of your antenna and my receiver not matching each other. And so the antenna tuner on the Lynx EZ receiver, its job is the same as it is for the transmitter. It's to take one side and match with the other. It's that simple. So let's jump over LT Spice on the computer. Okay, here we are on LT Spice. I've created a circuit. I've got a voltage source here that's our transmitter, way off in the distance somewhere, transmit a lot of power, and I'm seeing 1 volt coming into the 50 ohm impedance antenna. This is a 50 ohm ham radio, perfectly tuned antenna for this frequency. And that power comes through the antenna with the 50 ohm impedance, comes into a receiver, a Lynx EZ receiver that has the 8831 chip on the front end that at this particular frequency is 1200 ohm impedance. We've got an impedance mismatch. So what we want to know is, we want to know under this situation, how much power are we going to get? Now I can go up here and let's run the simulation, and I can go down here and click and get voltage. I can click and get current, but I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I go here and I'm going to hit the Alt button and click to get power, because power is what we're concerned about. We're not concerned about the voltage. We're not concerned about the amperage. Power is a combination of the two, and that's what we want to know about. How much wattage is this receiver getting in the front end? Okay, so we come up here and we see that it gets 768 microwatts. That's what we're receiving. What if I was to change the resistor so that the impedance of my radio, I put an antenna tuner in there and I tuned it to bring my front end to 50 ohm impedance to match my antenna? What would happen now if we rerun the simulation again? How about we get 5 milliwatts, not microwatts? You think there's a better signal coming in a receiver? Well, you're darn right we are. Oh my goodness, how many times magnitude stronger signal, right? And we see that. You've seen when I've taken the antenna tuner and played with it and could make stations literally almost go away or come in well. This is what we're doing. It's just the power is coming to the receiver this time, not the other way around. The antenna is the source. And I know that typical thinking, when people just get into this, they have a hard time seeing an antenna as a source, but it is. You're receiving energy out of the air and sending it into your radio. It's a source. And this is my load. So you can see the enormous difference of power being delivered to this receiver. So let's look at some other situations. Let's say that our receiver is, let's put it to 900 ohms. Let's say our antenna is 100 ohms. What kind of power would we get into the receiver then? 900 microwatts. We got a ways to go. We got 100 microwatts more to get to a milliwatt, right? But what if we tune our antenna tuner? Now remember, we're under 1 milliwatt. We're 0.9 milliwatts, right? Now let's tune our antenna tuner. Now they're matched. Watch what happens to our power. 2.5 milliwatts. Over 2.5 times the received energy into the receiver. Now, is there any tweaking where they're not matched, they get no more power? No, not going to happen. Let me show you why. Let's go back and let's say our antenna is 50 ohms. Our receiver is 50 ohms. Let's again go back and see that you get 5 milliwatts. If I go up just a little, now notice that I'm exactly 5 milliwatts, okay? Let's go up 60. Well, maybe we'll get more if we go up. No, we went down. 4.95, a little less than 5.9, right? Well, okay, maybe the other way. Maybe we go, instead of 60, let's go 40. That's maybe going down helps. Nope, 4.938. And the more I change it in either direction, the worse it's going to get. If I go to 20 ohms, now we're down to 4 milliwatts. If I go to 90 ohms, now we're 4.5 milliwatts. So there's nowhere that we can go with this load away from the source's impedance that will make me get more energy. This is the only place I'm going to get 5.00 milliwatts. Matching that antenna and receiver impedance gets rid of the SWR and effectively allows the energy to move. Now, why is that? Why is that the case? Well, let's think about it. If we change the resistor, let's look at, instead of the power, let's look at the voltage, and let's look at the current. And let me get rid of this one right here. Okay, we can see in this situation we get 500 millivolts and 10 milliamps. Now, when you put those together, that's where you get your 5 milliwatts. So we can change how much power we get by changing either how many amps or how many volts. Power equals voltage times current. If we change this resistor, what happens is, let me make this 100. Now remember, 500 millivolts, 10 milliamps, right? What happens to them? Look at my millivolts, but look at my milliamps. I've dropped milliamps, but I've got more voltage. Changing this gave me more voltage, but it gave me much less increase in voltage as compared to current. My current has dropped almost in half. So I've reduced current dramatically more than I increased voltage, so therefore the power is going to go down. So this is what's happening. When you go one direction, you lower the current. Let's go the other way. Let's make this 20. You're going to see the opposite now. Here's what happens there. Now the current went up to 14 milliamps. We've increased it dramatically, almost 50%, but our power, our voltage, has dropped more. It's come down to 285 millivolts. So moving the input impedance of the receiver up increases voltage, but lowers current. Lowering the resistance of the load lowers the voltage, increases the current. But doing so, they don't move equally. If they did, the power would stay the same. We'd have 5 milliwatts for everything, but we don't. They don't move. One moves a little and one moves a lot. And therefore, either way you do it, you lose power, and you'll continue to lose power the farther you're out of matched impedance. So there's no way around it. So this is where the SWR is going to come from. So I hope that was clear. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope you get a picture in your head and you understand, and it answers your question well. And I hope somebody learned something from it, and I hope to see you in the next video.